We can't solve problems using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. In this video, you will learn 3 subconscious mind techniques used by the legendary Einstein. Copy them and become a mental juggernaut. Chapter 1. The Letter. 2 days after finishing his theory of general relativity, which Einstein had worked on for 11 years, he sent the following letter to his son, Hans Albert Einstein. In the letter, Einstein mentions something very interesting. I am very pleased that you find joy with the piano. This and carpentry are, in my opinion, for your age, the best pursuits, better even than school. Mainly, play the things on the piano which please you, even if the teacher does not assign those. That is the way to learn the most. That when you are doing something with such enjoyment that you don't notice that the time passes. What Einstein is referring to is the flow state. Celebrated psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi popularized this concept of flow, which is a mental state highly conducive to productivity. Flow is the optimal state of the mind, when the concept of time dissolves and we become one with whatever is in front of us. It's an enjoyable state where our egos disappear. We forget who we are. Flow is the late and great Kobe Bryant taking the game-winning shot in the last 3 seconds. Flow is Tony Hawk doing the first 900 in 1999. Flow is Conor McGregor knocking out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. You might have experienced this heightened state of concentration whilst playing video games, or your favorite sport. Remember that Einstein told his son to play the things on the piano which please you, even if the teacher does not assign those. Einstein was known to skip many classes, famously studying Maxwell's equations in his own time. His professor's lectures, according to him, were 50 years out of date. The key to success, which Einstein shared with his son, is to find an application of a problem that interests you so that you can stay motivated to practice. The reason many of us were not interested in school is because what we learned was not fun. It had no application to us. Trigonometry and projectile motion was only fun to me when in my 10th grade physics class the teacher allowed us to build medieval weapons. A couple of friends and I built a ballista. Our interest in winning led us to gain a firm understanding of the concepts, something that would have never happened if we had our noses stuck in a textbook. If we can make something fun, it becomes easier to commit to the process of mastery. It's only through the enjoyment of an activity for its own sake that we can enter the flow state. Chapter 2. Periodization. We are often bombarded by messages telling us that we are not successful because we do not work hard enough. Entrepreneurs such as Gary Vaynerchuk and Elon Musk always preach about the importance of grinding it out.
Imagine not doing anything fun or going anywhere for the next 8 years, including Saturday and Sunday. That's what I did from 22 to 30. Every day I spent 15 hours a day in a liquor store.
And I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard every waking hour.
Although this sounds good in theory, in practice it can lead to a range of negative health effects. Fatigue and stress can create a chemical cocktail in our bodies which poison us slowly, returning us to the dust. Einstein did not channel his genius by working more hours than other scientists. He did not grind it out. He was known to sleep on average 10 hours every single day. Every day he would go on long walks, a habit shared with other geniuses such as Charles Darwin, Beethoven, Freud, Aristotle, and the late Steve Jobs. Einstein even played the violin for several hours, stating that, "I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music." What Einstein practiced was a form of periodization, fluctuating from periods of highly focused deep work and more relaxing and enjoyable pursuits. Periodization is well known in the strength and conditioning world, where if one wanted to get a stronger lift, such as, let's say, a bench press, they would rotate workouts of high intensity, often heavy weights and low reps, and more moderate workouts that were a bit easier on the body. Going too hard for too long can lead the body to experience overtraining syndrome, where it gets weaker and can actually lead to sickness. The mind, just like the body, needs its downtime to work effectively. Scientists have shown that when we rest, our brain operates very differently. Our brains switch from what's called a task-positive network to the default mode network. When the default mode network is activated, this leads to a different level of thinking, the one that Einstein mentioned was a solution to problems. This default mode network is the reason why many of us get our best ideas whilst in the shower or when lying in our beds before we sleep. We must treat our minds just like a muscle. After strenuous conscious work, we must allow our more intuitive subconscious minds to take care of the rest. We can do this by going for long walks slowly, meditating, yoga, and even lying on our beds as if you needed an excuse to do that. These are effective ways to channel your other mind. Periodization is the key. Chapter 3. Your imagination. Einstein was well known for his Gedanken experiments, also known as thought experiments. Since he was a boy, he would use his imagination to envision situations that could not be observed naturally or easily in the real world. His subconscious mind helped him deliver answers through these thought experiments, answers which filled in the gaps to many of his theories. This creative imagination gave him an advantage over other scientists who rely primarily on logic and classical education. Our imagination is a powerful thing. Before anything can be created in the physical world, it first takes form in the vision of our minds. The Burj Khalifa first took form in the architect Adrian Smith's mind. The iPhone, the smartphone which revolutionized the world, first took form in the mind of Steve Jobs. The concept of Harry Potter, which would later make J.K. Rowling the first billionaire author, was crafted on a 4-hour train ride. A ride in which she had no pen or paper to write down her ideas, leaving her mind to wander. The art of visualization is a superpower, often regarded as a hobby for hippies by society. It's not something that is taught in school. And yet, this is the hallmark of genius. Have you ever been immersed in a dream that seemed too real? You likely were in awe at how your mind could create buildings and elaborate structures, and how you could run into people with faces and personalities that you had never seen before in the real world. Dreams are often thought to be the domain of the subconscious mind, the same mind which allows you to hold a deep conversation whilst driving without crashing into a tree. The mind that allows this baseball star here to save this reporter's life.
It's been keep it on the field.
To get good, you will need to practice your visualizations. It's a skill, much like riding a bike. At first, you might be able to hold a hazy image of a 2D shape in your mind, and that's it. But with time, you'll be able to construct kingdoms. This is the key to all great discoveries, being able to withdraw within before manifesting what you want in the physical world. This was the last secret of Einstein. Do this, and I promise you, you'll be one step closer to living and dying well. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.